The Long Walk. The Long Walk, written by Stephen King under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. Chapter number 14. And remember, if you use your hands or gesture with any part of your body or use any part of the word, you will forfeit your chance for the $10,000. Just give a list. Good luck. Dick Clark, The $10,000 Pyramid. They had all pretty much agreed that there was little emotional stretch or recoil left in them. But apparently, Garrity thought tiredly as they walked into the roaring darkness along USA 202 with Augusta a mile behind them. It was not so. Like a badly treated guitar that has been knocked about by an unfeeling musician, the strings were not broken, but only out of tune, discordant, chaotic. Augusta hadn't been like Old Town. Old Town had been a phony hick New York. Augusta was some new city, a once-a-year city of crazy revelers, a party-down city full of a million boogieing drunks and a cuckoo birds and out-and-out maniacs. They had heard Augusta and seen Augusta long before they had reached Augusta. The image of waves beating on a distant shore recurred to Garrity again and again. They heard the crowd 5 miles out. The lights filled the sky with a bubble-like pastel glow that was frightening and apocalyptical, reminding Garrity of pictures he had seen in history books of the German air blitz of the American East Coast during the last days of World War II. They stared at each other uneasily and bunched together like small boys in a lightning storm or cows in a blizzard. There was a raw redness in that swelling sound of crowd, a hunger that was numbing. Garrity had a vivid and scary image of the great god crowd clawing its way out of the Augusta basin on scarlet spider legs and devouring them alive. The town itself had been swallowed, strangled, and buried. In a very real sense, there was no Augusta, and there were no more fat ladies or pretty girls, or pompous men, or wet-crotched children waving puffy clouds of cotton candy. There was no bustling Italian man here to throw slices of watermelon, only crowd, a creature with no body, no head, no mind. Crowd was nothing but a voice and an eye, and it was not surprising that Crowd was both God and Mammon. Garrity felt it. He knew the others were feeling it. It was like walking between giant electrical pylons, feeling the tingles and shocks stand every hair on end, making the tongue jitter nuttily in the mouth, making the eyes seem to crackle and shoot off sparks as they roll in their beds of moisture. Crowd was to be pleased. Crowd was to be worshipped and feared. Ultimately, Crowd was to be made sacrifice unto. They plowed through ankle-deep drifts of confetti. They lost each other and found each other in a shitting blizzard of magazine streamers. Garrett snatched a paper out of the dark and crazy air. At a random, had found himself looking at a Charles Atlas bodybuilding at. He grabbed another one and was brought face to face with John Travolta. And at the height of the excitement, at the top of the first hill on 202, overlooking the mob turnpike behind the gorged and glutted town at their feet. Two huge purple-white spotlights split the air ahead of them, and the major was there, drawing away from them in his jeep like an hallucination, holding his salute ramrod stiff, incredibly, fantastically oblivious of the crowd and the gigantic throes of its labor all around him. And the walkers, the strings were not broken on their emotions, only badly out of tune. They had cheered wildly with hoarse and totally unheard voices. The 37 of them were left. The crowd could not know they were cheering, but somehow they did. Somehow they understood that the circle between death worship and death wish had been completed for another year, and the crowd went completely loopy, convulsing itself in greater and greater paroxysms. Garrity felt a stabbing, needling pain in the left side of his chest and was unable to stop cheering, even though he understood he was driving at the very brink of disaster. A shifty-eyed walker named Milligan saved them all by falling to his knees, his eyes squeezed shut and his hands pressed to his temples, as if he were trying to hold his brains in. He slid forward on the end of his nose, abrading the tip of it on the road like some chalk on a rough black boot. How amazing, Garrity thought. That kid's wearing his nose away on the road. And then Milligan was mercifully blasted. After that, the walkers stopped cheering. Garrity was badly scared by the pain in his chest and was subsiding only partially. He promised that was the end of the craziness. We're getting close to your girl? Parker asked. He had not weakened, but he had mellowed. Garrity liked him okay now. Well, about 50 miles, maybe 60, give or take. You're one lucky son of a bitch, Garrity, Parker said wistfully. I am? He was really surprised. He turned to see if Parker was laughing at him. Parker wasn't. You're gonna see your girl and your mother. Who the hell am I going to see between now and the end? No one but these pigs. He gestured with his middle finger at the crowd, which seemed to take the gesture as a salute and cheer him deliriously. I'm homesick, he said. I'm scared. Suddenly, he screamed at the crowd. Pigs, you pigs! They cheered him even more loudly than ever. I'm scared too. And homesick, we... He groped. We're all too far away from home. The road keeps us away. I may see them, but I won't be able to touch them. Well, the rules say... I know what the rules say. Bodily contact with anyone I wish, as long as I don't leave the road. But it's not the same. There's a war. Fucking easy for you to talk. You're going to see them. Just the same. Maybe that'll only make it worse, McVry said. He had come quietly up behind them. They had just passed under a blinking yellow warning flasher at the Winthrop intersection. Garrity could see it waxing and waning on the pavement after they passed it. A fearful yellow eye, opening and closing. You're all crazy, Parker said amiably. I'm getting out of here. He put on a little speed and had soon nearly disappeared into the blinking shadows. He thinks we're queer for each other. McBride said, amused. Heh heh, what? Garrity had snap up. He's not such a bad guy, McBride said thoughtfully. He could a humorous eye at Garrity. Maybe he's even half right. Maybe that's why I saved your ass. Maybe I'm queer for you. With a face like mine, I thought you perverts like the willowy type. Still, he was suddenly uneasy. Suddenly, shockingly, McBride said, Would you let me get... Would you let me jerk you off? Garrett hissed in a breath. What the hell? Oh, shut up, McBride said crossly. Where do you get out with all this self-righteous shit? I'm not even going to make it easier by letting you know if I'm joking. What say? Garrett felt a sticky dryness in his throat. The thing was, he wanted to be touched. Queer, not queer. That didn't seem no matter now that they were all busy dying. All that mattered was McBride. He didn't want McBride to touch him. Not that way. Well, I suppose you did save my life. Garrity let it hang. McBride laughed. I'm supposed to feel like a heel. Because you owe me something and I'm taking advantage. Is that it? Do what you want, Garrity said shortly. But quit playing games. Heh, does that mean yet? Whatever you want, Garrity yelled. Person! Who had been staring nearly hypnotized at his feet, looked up, startled. Whatever you goddamn well. Garrity yelled. McBride laughed again. You're right, Ray. Never doubt it. He clapped Garrett's shoulder and dropped back. Garrett stared at him, mystified. He just can't get enough, Person said tiredly. Almost 250 miles, Person roared. My feet are like lit with poison inside them. My back's burning, and that screwed up McBride doesn't have enough yet. He's like a starving, grubbling up laxatives. He wants to be heard. Do you think? Oh, Jesus, what do you think? He had to be wearing a beat me hard sign. I wonder what he's trying to make up for. There is more to this. Naturally, there is more to this chapter and this story, but we're going to stop it right there.